a fascinating documentary that is going to be in two parts. So you'll see the first on Sunday night. Apparently it's at 7:30 on SABC 3, and then it'll be shown the second part a week later. It's basically the SABC premiering this film, which is called Murder in Paris. All right, so Murder in Paris is basically to commemorate the death of the ANC struggle veteran Dulcie September, who was killed in 1988. Let's just give you a background to it. September was assassinated on the 29th of March 1988 in Paris while working as an ANC representative in Luxembourg, Switzerland and France. And what this documentary does is explores why this former school teacher from Athlone in Cape Town and principled cadre was murdered. Enver Samuel is the director of that film, and he started to document the life and death of September since 2017, and this of course was with the consent of her family. The good news is we've actually got him with us this morning, so I'm so glad he is here. Enver, we thought we may not be speaking to you, but I believe that you're with us. Good morning.
Morning. And thank you for having me. I actually just got back from a run. Sorry about
that. So we'll understand if you start sweating. It's not because you're hiding anything. It's because you've just come from a run. But that's fantastic. Thank you for talking to us. This is really lovely. I think we have a clip. Let's try and play this clip first, and then we'll give you a chance to breathe, and we'll have a look at what to expect coming up. So here we go. This is for you, the viewer.
A major shock to have someone shot like that, and in such a cowardly manner.
La France a été choquée, vraiment choquée.
Dulcie must have been on to something. To assassinate 80 person in a foreign country is a very big decision for these guys. They could do it in Africa, and they did it quite a lot.
Pourquoi on l'a tuée, elle?
Why?
Why Dulcie at that time?
C'est la vraie question. C'est pas qui, c'est la question pourquoi.
A cold case brought to life.
South Africa had made a deal with France for nuclear power. So from the 70s onwards, we were monitoring South Africa's nuclear weapon capability.
Our nuclear program is a huge secret, probably the biggest secret.
R5 trillion was spent between the mid-70s and the early 1990s.
Sure, unbelievable. I mean, it's actually making me and Sakina look at each other and smile, because we've just engaged, or Sakina's just engaged in a whole ESCOM conversation about electricity and everything that's happening behind the scenes and all of these power shortages. And then we see a clip, and this was all the way back in those years. Anyway, let's talk about who Dulcie September was.
Well, Dulcie September was a school teacher from Cape Town. She grew up in Athlone, and she was quite active in politics of the time, in trying to readdress the injustices of apartheid. She, together with a bunch of her comrades, were then rounded up by the security police and were sentenced to acts of sabotage and treason in the 60s, and then they were sentenced to prison. Dulcie served 5 years. When she was released, she was served with a banning order, which essentially meant that she was a prisoner in her own home. That was for 5 years, and then she decided to take an exit permit, which meant basically leaving your country and never having the opportunity to come back. And with Dulcie's case, she actually sadly never came back, because she was assassinated in Paris in 1988.
Unbelievable. Now, you know, is there a reason why so little is known about Dulcie September? I mean, it's a massive story, and it was a big moment in history, and yet it doesn't really get that prominence.
Exactly, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. With it's almost like there's been an attempt to erase Dulcie September. There's an erasure of her name, and we tried to get to the bottom of this with the documentary. And this is one of the unfortunate things, I think, with certain heroes and heroines of the past. You know, we know the big names, we know them very well, our Mandelas, Sisulos, and Tambos, and Bikos, but there are hundreds of others that did really, really important things that don't get the recognition they deserve today.
Now, the significance of this film coming out, especially when we talk about the fact that this will be premiered on Human Rights Day, what are you hoping that this will actually do? I mean, this will obviously make this something that people actually talk about. I mean, shot 5 times, assassinated in Paris. This talks to arms, it talks to nuclear, it talks of, there is so much in this film. So let's talk about your hope from this debut and premiere that'll be happening.
Yeah. So, I mean, shortly after Dulcie was murdered or assassinated, Oliver Tambo, the then ANC head of the head of the ANC presidency, said that we would leave no stone unturned in finding the killers of Dulcie September. It's 33 years later now, and we are still looking. So we are hoping that this documentary will create an impetus to get the case reopened and give some closure to the family.
This, please correct me if I'm wrong, was this spoken about at the TRC? But if the findings were they were inconclusive, is that correct?
Exactly,
Yeah,
they were
I thought
inconclusive.
So. Yeah, okay, so this is just another one of those stories. Talk to us about the research that you did. How long has it taken you to actually put this together? I mean, obviously, you spent time in Europe to piece together a lot of information about this assassination.
Yes, the journey began in April 2017 when by chance, I was at a documentary film festival and I met a close relative of Dulcie's, and he asked me, why don't you do something on Dulcie September? Because I had just done a documentary on Amatimo, which he knew about. So it started then, and then I went head in with the research, and the research, a door opens and then another door opens and another door opens, and you just keep finding more and more. And that's the thing that beggars belief, is that you just do a random Google search on Dulcie September and you will be absolutely surprised about the information that comes out. Again, speaking to the unusual silencing of her when there's so much about her. So I was able to unearth in France archival footage of Dulcie September in numerous interviews. So in the documentary, you get Dulcie September coming alive. You get to hear her accent. You get to hear or see the nuances in her facial expression. She's a full 3D character in the documentary.
Fantastic. We cannot wait to see this. We know it's on Sunday, 21st of March, SABC 3. Enver, congratulations on putting this together, getting it out there. And I know the million-dollar question is why? Why was she killed? I won't even ask you, because I know that that's what's in the promo, and that's hopefully what we can get to the bottom of. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And there you have it. I can't wait to see this on Sunday. And it's a two-part.
Two-part
first part on Sunday, next part the following Sunday. Illicit arms trade.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
Can't
interesting.
wait.